How's it going, everybody? Thank you for tuning back to the Backstop Built channel. I am Coach Brock, founder and CEO of the Backstop Built Full Catchers Training Program. And today I have a interview with a player who went through that exact program that I talk so much about. And I am very excited to show off this kid who just went through the full 6 months with me. And he has a very, very cool, unique story, just like all the guys I interview. But you're going to want to stick around for his if you are someone who is in high school, especially right now, someone who is striving towards getting that starting role and realizes they need to have those mechanics and fundamentals to back up where they want to go, because this guy did exactly that. I'm super excited to show off what he was able to accomplish. Without further ado, let's hear from him.
What's up? I'm Louden. I'm a 2026 out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I'll be going to Lebanon High School, and I've worked with Brock the last 6 months, and he's really helped with my mechanics and just like being more comfortable and confident as a catcher and as a leader in general.
That's pretty much exactly what we accomplished for Loudon in his career. And he has some really cool news. So stick to the end so we can kind of go over his unique situation, because it might resonate with some of you guys who are, kind of transfers, kind of at a new spot, at a new program, and wanting to make a name for yourself right away. So, Loudon, we're going to start with the first question I got for you, man. Where were you before we started working together?
Yeah, so I was going to my junior year. The year before that, I had torn my ACL and, partially tore it, but, played JV, a little bit of varsity, just kind of dip my toes in the water really with varsity. The confidence was kind of whatever. I didn't have the greatest summer going into my junior year, so once I DM'd you on Instagram, we really started picking up, and yeah, I mean like it was just the confidence wasn't necessarily there. It just that was the biggest part. Like I've always done decent on the dish, but I didn't feel that. So it was just I was all over the place mentally. So
Gotcha, man. Yeah. Would you say your confidence was probably the biggest thing, like keeping you up at night? Maybe knowing that you had those pretty good physical skills already, but wondering, like, hey, why am I not the guy right away?
yeah, for sure. Because like at least for me, like confidence wise, when I'm lacking confidence, I start to like make problems that aren't necessarily there. Like seeing something, like looking back at video, I'll see something be like, that doesn't look right, even though it might be fine. And I'm just being so like, like hard on myself about it. Like that was the biggest thing. Like I was lacking confidence, and then I was also super hard on myself looking back at video or whatnot. I didn't really have any guidance in that aspect. You know what I'm saying? So that was the biggest thing.
Absolutely, dude. No, I could totally see that from my perspective as well. Those you definitely, your attention to detail is very good. That's something that I had as well as a player, but at the same time you gotta give yourself more grace for certain things. So
100%.
yeah, dude. Okay, cool. So, what would you say the biggest thing you needed to work on? I know confidence, we just said that, but what would you say in your physical skills was one of the biggest things holding you back before we were working together?
Pop time. That was the biggest one. Just the mechanics of it. My arm strength, really to be exact, was the arm strength. But then we broke it down and realized that it was more than just my arm that was holding me back throwing wise. But yeah, just as a whole, pop time. That was the big one.
Yeah. What would you have to comment on with your blocking and receiving as well? Obviously, those weren't as dire as your pop time, but what were some of the things within that that needed improvement too?
Blocking, I mean, more so like positioning. Like I remember I looked at video the other day from when we started. Like I was so high in my stance and I had like no hip mobility. So like getting in the right position to block a baseball is the biggest part. My glove popping up was the big one. I know we talked about the first 4 months was the glove. So getting the glove down, blocking wise, getting my butt down too. That was the big one. And then like receiving is more same deal. Like positioning, like how to actually like attack the ball rather than, being passive or whatnot. Like I feel like in those aspects, blocking and receiving, like I had a better gist of what I was doing, but there's still a lot of like, you know, soft edges we needed to like, attack.
Absolutely. No, for sure. You were definitely a guy who needed a lot of maintenance, not super like a complete transformation in every category, even though we did go through a breakdown phase. But you just needed to refine a lot of your mechanics. And I think a lot of that's where we add in that confidence is when you perfect your mechanics, when you work towards perfection in those categories, your confidence goes up. Like that's just how it does. Because if you throw a seed down to second at about a 1.9, like, and that's something that you've worked for, and now that's new, you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm pretty confident now. So that's something that I feel like you probably fell into that category too after working through the program.
100%.
What would you say the adjustments we made as a whole for you as a catcher going through the program, in the physical and the mental side?
Like mechanically, you're saying?
Yeah, we could go mechanically, probably, and mentally as well for that confidence. Like, what do you think from the plan of attack going through the program were some of the biggest adjustments?
Well, I think first of all, like, before I was working with you, it was just 1 day a week with a catching coach. So like, you go 1 day a week and it's like you feel good and whatnot, and you just go do it, try to, recreate that on your own. It was just never the same. So, once I got into your program, it was, 5, 6, sometimes even 7 days a week of training. Whereas like you had something every day that was 20, maybe even 30 minutes max of, drills and whatnot. So I think doing something every day that was like more so like a lesson handed to you, is like that was already more confidence there because you're like, okay, I'm doing these same particular things every day. That's going to help me, smooth out what I need to smooth out. And within the first 2 weeks, I was already seeing differences. I was already getting, different feedback from you on the videos. You know what I'm saying? There's already changes happening. So like when you see those happen, it's already kind of like, okay, this is doable. This can work. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the biggest thing for
Yeah,
me, just seeing it happen.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, once I think again, what gets confidence is seeing results. You know what I mean? Like seeing some of your training pay off, especially within 2 weeks, is huge, dude. Because now you're like, oh, now if I multiply those 2 weeks by keeping on the same trajectory I'm going of working hard, surely I'm going to make even more improvements. But no, dude. So it sounds like to me, and for anyone watching this, one of the biggest things that you did was adjust your training style. So from that kind of one hour a week with the coach to now consistently each day, stacking each brick, like I say so many times, just focus on that one brick each day. Just lay it as perfect as you can. And then over time, dude, you're going to have a full foundation that is unshakable. And then eventually a structure, a house, whatever you think, a castle that is not going to be able to be shaken down. So that's exactly what we go through in the program. Now, within changing that training style, what specifically tweaks within your blocking, throwing, receiving helped the most, would you say, after going through the full training, especially with the evaluations I was giving?
Just starting off, we start with blocking and we worked right into a breakdown phase. I think that was the most beneficial thing for me, was just going back to the baby steps and just seeing how the block was actually supposed to feel and look. Because I remember like when we started, I was narrow, my legs were narrow, my glove would pop up. I didn't have good posture in my shoulders. And like it worked, for 14U, but now, going varsity baseball, that block's just not going to work anymore, right? And then I look at videos now and just like, you know, I'm wider now, I'm on top of the baseball, the glove stays down. Like, those are the biggest adjustments we had to make to really like make that work. And now like in the game, I don't even think about it. I just react, and it's a picture perfect block. I think that's the thing that like really stands out to me.
That's the biggest thing that I want players to unlock, especially is blocking, because dude, blocking can hold you back. If your receiving and throwing are super good and you can't block, your coach will not want to play you. So for being able to have blocking in your tool belt as an automatic, like I smother that, that is huge, man. What would you say for your receiving and throwing as well, like tweaks there?
Receiving is probably like my biggest strong suit going into it. You know what I'm saying? I think we can both agree on that. But
Oh
like
yeah.
looking same deal, like looking at back at videos, like I saw the pre-pitch move and whatnot. It was just more so like the angle I took to the baseball was the biggest adjustment you and I made. Whereas like I went from staying underneath the baseball and just being like more of a jagged movement to where now it's just like it's one straight, it's just a linear path now. So it's like that was more so. I think that was the best part where we said like refine rather than like change. It's just more so just refining that path to the baseball.
And then last one is, we talked about your throwing, and that was the biggest thing holding you back. How do you feel like you've made improvements in that after going through the program?
Same deal. The way I prep, like the pre pitch, leaning in with that front leg, letting the back foot eat. You know what I'm saying? Like even now, just like rotating the body, getting totally towards second base. The exchange coming out the chest rather than down or up, whatever. I don't remember what I was doing beforehand, but I just remember we made the adjustment up to the chest here rather than staying at the belly button. Same deal. We just letting the pitch get to me. I remember that was a big talking point we had. But yeah, overall, just like that was the big monster for me. Just changing everything there. But I think the footwork was like the biggest piece of that. Is just really turning the body. Because I was almost pointing towards third base when I was throwing at second base at first. Like the lower half was. So it's like that was the biggest adjustment right there.
Now let's talk about the results you got in each category and where you are now. So before, you were one of those guys who needed refinement, wasn't very confident, definitely rusty, I would say, in two out of the three categories mechanically. And now, where would you say you are with everything?
I mean, the confidence is an all-time high. I go and catch pro guys all the time and receive and block like it's nothing. I got this posted everywhere too. Like it just looks good, right? I think the best part is not even the fact that I can do it. I can trust myself, but then afterward, having these pro guys being like, "Oh, where are you committed?" or "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Actually, I don't know yet." You know what I'm saying? Like they already see it in me too, where it's like if I didn't have any confidence, there's the confidence right there. You know what I'm saying? That's just a bonus because I'm already up here in confidence. So like seeing that, having other people see that is the coolest part. Where it's just like I know what I'm doing now. And then throwing wise, like when I started with you, I was at like a 2.2 pop time, and I clocked as low as a 195. So I mean, there's definitely still room for me to grow there, but like that's a huge jump in 6 months. Huge.
Massive, massive. I mean, for anyone watching this, imagine if you had a guaranteed way to drop your pop time in 6 months. So, like, let's say you're at a 2.2 right now. How well would it help for you to be at a 1.95 in 6 months? That's very, very impressive, dude. And I'm not saying that's on me. Like, you put in that work. So, good job that you attack that. You're only getting better. You're only continuing to refine that. And I love that, dude. It's been great. And the biggest thing I love to show off right now is your confidence because I don't want anyone to play this game unconfident, concerned, worried, things keeping them up at night. And you're able to have freedom, dude. You could step on that field and have freedom. Praise God for that. Biggest one there. So then you can enjoy the game, right? So that's amazing right there, man. Super proud of you for that, dude.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. So we kind of talked about, some of the things that you were able to overcome, and now you're at a way better version of yourself back there. Let's talk about the program specifically now. What's it like inside the program for anyone watching this? Like, what was your experience?
Yes, I mean, you get the app, and I have direct communication with you, and then every day you're given basically a little like agenda almost of what you're going to do, a list of training, and it's usually within like whatever I guess side of catching you're doing, right? So like at least for us, my first phase was blocking. So the first like 3 weeks of blocking was just like straight up dry work where, really, really baby steps, just seeing where it's at. And, if you look at that, sometimes some people like think it's odd, but just like then you do it. And then in 3 weeks, you're already blocking in game. You're like, okay, this feels so much better. And then like, as it goes on, like obviously you start doing harder stuff and you'll get off like, the machine and whatnot and start, doing actual like live reps. But yeah, it starts off slow and then you really pick up fast, but it builds very, very fast.
What would you say your favorite part about the program was?
As in like the phases or just in general?
In general, I mean, I guess for context for everyone watching this, like my four big pillars are like the daily plan, what Loudon just explained. So you have an app, think of it as like a fitness workout plan, but for catching specific drills. So it's going to tell you like sets, reps, and progresses. So that's the first pillar. Second one is evaluation. That's also on another platform. That's you being able to send video and get evaluation. Third one's our community where we kind of host more of our group calls, things like our mental resources, also game plan resources, pitch calling, things like that, just connecting. And then the last pillar, just daily access to me where guys just message me one on one. So I guess out of those, man, what would you say was probably your favorite attribute and helped you the most?
I got two. It's definitely the video platform and the daily messaging. Yeah, I like them both because like I like remote. I didn't like it. I didn't really think about it before I met you, but like now that I started working with you, like I'm doing my workouts on remote too. I'm using your remote program. Like it's nice. It's just like knowing that like once again like rather than like going one day a week to go catch and you talk to a guy for an hour, I can talk to you whenever needed, of course, besides like, 12 a.m., right? But, just being able to upload video whenever and just, within like 24 hours max, I get a video back of you explaining what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. And it's like, I'm a big visual guy too. So seeing that is super cool. Like, okay, that looks better. That still isn't great. I need to attack that this week. And then immediately going back just to texting you and be like, hey, what do you think the next attack plan is for this or whatever, whatever. Cause it's like, I guess especially after like doing the daily stuff, like I just want to do more. Even like after just the 30 minutes or whatnot, I just want to keep going because like you start seeing the results, you just don't want to stop, So like those two are like the definitely the biggest part for me.
Heck yeah, dude. That's actually super unique for sure. I'm not surprised about the video uploading. Most guys like think that's really cool how you can upload whatever you want and then just be like, okay, I get evaluation back. But the messaging is pretty cool because everyone's unique. Some guys just like messaging a catching coach each day, and that's what you get. I mean, if I went through this program as a player, I'd be messaging the coach every day. Hey, what do you think I should do here? What should I do here? So dude, that's awesome. Great answer. I wanted to ask you, who's this program for? Like what type of catcher would get the best type of results in this program?
A workhorse. That's about it. You gotta know, you gotta want to work. You gotta be determined. If you're just gonna sit back and just let the program work for you, that's not how it works. You have to put in the work and do it. And that's the biggest thing. You have to want to do it. That's the biggest one. If you're a hard worker, you're gonna like this program.
Absolutely, dude. That's great. On the flip side, who's this program not for?
The lazy ones. That's about it. I mean, if you're gonna sit back and think that paying for a program and not doing it's gonna help, then this program's not for you.
Dude, that's a perfect answer. For anyone who knows they are lazy out there and they're thinking about working with me, save yourself the time because I am not looking to work with guys who need motivated every single day. We work off a discipline here. Guys that have a want to see a result, they're willing to work for that. That's what you're gonna do. Now I will say, and you can back this up, everyone I do an interview with who goes through the program, they've had a work ethic and they all typically say they found an even deeper work ethic, one that is more of working smarter necessarily, maybe not like let's dig a hole as hard as we can. It's more of how can I get the most out of each day. Would you kind of agree with that?
100%. Yeah. Same deal for me. Like before you, I go to the 1 day a week and I just go try to do random stuff that I see on Instagram, and it just wouldn't give me the same thing. Whereas when I started with you, it's like I did what the program said and it worked rather than doing all this random stuff I just found on Instagram and YouTube. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
100%.
Well, that's awesome, dude. Would you recommend this program to somebody else?
Oh, for sure. Yes. 100%. I mean, like it's the same deal. Like especially the people that I surround myself with, just my teammates and whatnot. They're all hard workers. It's like I've even brought up to them too. Like if you need real catching, remote training or just training in general, like Backstop Built is where it's at.
That's awesome, dude. I appreciate you saying that, man. Let's go. I'm going to kind of shift into it specifically remotely because we were talking about it. What beliefs did you have about online training before working with me?
Honestly, like I don't want to say there's a specific belief. It was just more so like I wasn't like educated in it. Like I don't really know what to think, but like everything I've done, I've been playing since I was 4. Everything I've done has been in person. So like when because I remember I DM'd you on Instagram because I saw one of your advertisements. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I was kind of like, this is kind of different though, and I got kind of scared of different. So I mean, at first it was just like I said, it was just different, so I didn't really know how to feel about it. Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't negative, it wasn't positive, it was kind of like neutral, but like I wasn't sure how I felt about it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone in this part of when I ask them this question, who's gone through the program, they almost always say I was skeptical. And I totally get that.
Yeah, 100%.
Because, yeah, what we're building here at Backstop Built is new and it's very effective. So that's why I obviously do this full time because I want to serve every catcher who is like me. And this is like the best option. You're not going to convince me otherwise. That's exactly what you see the results Louden got. You see the other guys that I've worked with. This is the best option for catchers because of the access you have. Like that is taking advantage of the day and age we're in and sink or swim. So that's awesome, dude. Now you were a guy who worked with an in-person coach, you said, so you did the whole 1 hour a week, still guessing the other 6 days on your own. So I wanted to ask you, how would you compare remote to in-person since now you've done both?
It sleeps and bounds better. And I'm not just saying that to say that, it just is. Um, like especially the people I've worked with, it's like you go that 1 hour a week, and then like you should do a little bit of receiving, a little bit of blocking, a little bit of footwork, and then maybe a little bit of hitting if you have time, right? Like you don't really just it's more so just cramming stuff in, and then exchanging money and leaving, right? Whereas here, it's like you get it, and it's I said 6 7 days a week, like you're just going right, and um, yeah, I mean, it leaps and bounds better just because, like, once again, like, I can talk to you whenever, and I'm always given new instruction or new programming, new material to practice rather than having to wait 6 days to get something new. Like that's the biggest thing for me is like I can just open my phone and boom, there's 30 minutes worth of practice material for the day.
I mean, that's exactly what it's built for, guys. Consistency of doing things right. And the best way to do that is having a coach in your corner daily. Couldn't have said it better, man. That's great. Now speaking to the people watching this, what would you have to say to if they're on the fence right now?
Give it a shot. It's 6 months. It's not like you're signing up for 5 years. You're signing up for 6 months. I mean, it's especially in today's world. It's like everything's online now, and like you live in Colorado. It's like I couldn't see if I wanted to see it. I'm still getting top tier coaching. So it's just like give it a shot. At the end of the day, it's like once you're 6 months up, you don't like it, you don't like it. But I guarantee you'll like it. So you just gotta give it a shot.
I fully agree. I mean, for most of the guys watching this, if you're watching and you made it this far, you're definitely curious. You need help in your career and you need to try something new. You can't just go back to the same things you've been doing. You can't just go to the cage and try and figure things out on your own. You need something to spark that. And that's exactly what Loudon did. That's what he was able to do as well. So, man, that's awesome. I also wanted to ask you, how would you say that this program has helped your career for where you are right now compared to where you started?
I mean, in its entirety, like once again, a smarter work ethic. Once again, like, I was hitting and lifting and catching before I met you, but now everything I do is with more intent. You know what I'm saying? That stems from the catching programming. Like once I started getting better catching programming from you, my lifting became. I had more intent behind my lifting. I had more intent when I went and hit. So everything I did was just more intentional rather than just doing it to get it done. That was the biggest thing I've seen within like I guess my mindset just changed in general.
What would you have to say about, being able to work with me? Like what kind of comes to mind and going through the program for, you know, getting closer towards your goals and dreams of going to the college level and hopefully even past that?
Well, I mean, like everything that we've done together has been positive. Yeah, I have nothing negative to say about the program, truly. So like, we had that, the community where it's like, we can talk to you, we can ask questions between each other, and like, you're the peers that are working the same program. So I mean, like all that's it's a community of guys that are just trying to get to the next level, trying to be better people, be better players in general. So I think like all the tools that you give us within this program just helps in general, just trying to reach our goals. It's just a whole community of guys just trying to get better every day. So it's pretty cool.
Good, dude. No, I appreciate that as well, for sure, man. Tell them kind of about the junior year you had and how you're able to show off those mechanics and then kind of what the next steps look like for you going forward and some of those really good interests at the college level before we wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, my junior year went pretty well. I caught really well. Split reps with the other catcher, so I mean, can't ask for too much more. We played pretty much the same amount of time, so it's pretty sweet. You know, I, I just played well in general, caught well, blocked well. We had a few D1 guys on our squad this year that pitched, so I get to catch those guys and catch them efficiently. It's pretty cool. So that was pretty cool. Swung the bat pretty well. So overall, a great year. Definitely better than what it would have been without your help. So
That's great stuff. And then he's looking forward to a huge senior year. Stay updated on that. You'll see me post about him. I know he's going to have one. And also, he already has some really good college interests, and we're working towards an official offer here soon, which I don't see as a problem at all. So you're only getting better, man. And this is awesome. I'm super excited for you. I guess I just wanted to open it up one last time. Is there anything else you'd like to say to anyone watching this about your experience, about working with me? Anything that comes to mind when you think about Backstop Built that can help someone watching this right now?
yeah, I mean, once again, just straight positive. Like nothing negative I can say about it. Like I think the only thing I would change about these last 6 months is I would have sent you more video, and I sent a pretty good amount of video, but I would have just sent more video. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like once again, like everything you need catching wise is right here. Like there's nothing, there's not one thing I would add to your program. It's all right there. So just if you do the program, make sure you utilize every tool you have because they're going to help you in one way or another.
I appreciate everything you were able to bring to the table. You worked very hard. You worked very smart. You went through this in the middle of your season, and it was so cool to see in-game updates of your video too. So, guys, that is Loudon's story. He is still writing his career in the middle of it right now of, going into that senior year, going to play at that college level, and then see what happens after that, man. But one thing about this kid that I appreciate so much was his consistent work ethic of, dude, you just have a high level of thinking, and that's what's going to get you far. For anyone out there, be honest with yourself, look in the mirror, do an evaluation of what you truly need, and then seek that help. If that's me, that is great. I'll show you how you can take those steps. But before then, I just want to say thank you, Loudon. Each kid teaches me a lot as a coach. I think one of the biggest things you taught me is just how good someone can get who just needs refinement. Yeah, some guys need a full, complete makeover. You were a guy who definitely needed these like small tweaks each day, and then you listen to them and it's like, yeah, that does look a lot different. So man, thank you again. It was great. I think we truly built a friendship as well, man. Hopefully at one of my in-person events, wherever I do one, we can connect in person. That's my goal, to meet all my guys in person someday. So man, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. It's been a good 6 months.
Absolutely, man. So, for anyone who's made it to the end, one of the biggest things I like to do is offer for you to get on a call with me. So, what this means is Loudon reached out to me through social media. We kind of had a conversation where he's at. I felt like he was a good fit. So, I said, hey, let's get on his call, you and me, and have a conversation about where you're at. This is a call I do with you and a parent, and I'm just going to go over, kind of just let you spill the beans of where you are and what your goals are, and genuinely make a decision on, okay, do I feel like I can help you? And then show you the program. So if you want to do that, I'll put a link in the description below so you can kind of check out a video that also goes over my whole entire program. And then if you feel compelled to hop on a call, by all means, go do that. Please like this video here and subscribe to the channel as well, so you guys don't miss another testimonial. You don't miss another in-depth free training. But this is just another guy I am working with who is more proof of how we are doing things here at Backstop Built to help catchers become the best versions of themselves. So thank you again, Loudon. I'm super, super pumped for you in your future.